let's move on to Lily Allen. Her new album about the breakdown of her marriage is continuing to make headlines after its release on Friday. But the very next day, her ex-husband, David Harbour, you see him there, was spotted on a family day out with her daughters, because, of course, he is their stepfather. In the album, Lily talks about lying to her teenage girls about the truth of a breakup, which may or may not be about her relationship with David. But can you really protect your kids from the realities of your relationship breaking up?
Yeah, I think you can. I think firstly what I'd probably want to say with that is that you have to really be careful what you put out there about whether your ex, the person you divorce, or your children's father or mother, because ultimately it affects the children. You know, myself, I haven't been married, but I've separated from my children's father. And for me, I always took the place of not speaking anything bad about our relationship because I broke up with him, if you get what I mean. It's not like you broke up with the kids or whatever. That was a choice that I made. It's still your dad. But I allowed them to get older. I think that's what you have to think about. Let them get older and learn the person for their self, so that there's never a question whether you manipulated them, whether you spoke bad about them. And then when they get to a certain age, which they are now, 20 and 16, they can make that choice themselves. I think, depending on the circumstances, obviously, you have to protect them emotionally, physically, if there is any kind of abuse. But I think it's really important for your children to not hear the negative and let them grow and learn about their personal self.
Do you think, Kel, do you think sometimes that's lost? I mean, there are at least 4 or 5 couples in my life who, in my life at the moment, who within the last 5, 6 years have broken up, and mum and dad have not spoken in 6 years.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, that's... Would you argue that's thinking about themselves rather than thinking about the children involved?
So I'm a product of divorce. My mum and dad got divorced, and what I don't like is lying to the children. I think, for me personally, you know, if I've had to have conversations with my children, and they are difficult ones, you know, even if that's about their grandparents or their grandfather or anybody within their, you know, circle, and they've asked me a question, if I feel like it's age inappropriate for them at that age to have that conversation, I'll say, not right now, Mummy can't discuss this right now because you're a little bit too young, but, you know, we will talk about this another time. And the reason I take that decision is because when I was lied to, when I was going through that situation, it not only wounded the fact that, you know, my parents were splitting up, but it wounded the relationship with that parent.
Yes.
So I'd much rather it was a truthful relationship, no matter how hard that truth is. If it's inappropriate and you know, not age appropriate, fine, you park it. With my children, I do exactly the same thing. In fact, the other day, my child, we were in the car together, and Kerry went, "So, Mummy, you know that thing? Can we talk about it now? Because I'm 12.
I'm ready.
Yeah. And she was like, "I'm ready for this." And I was like, yeah, actually, you are. And we did have that conversation. But I prefer that because then that trust between me and my child isn't broken, and the trust between the child and the parent isn't broken, even if the trust between the two parents is broken.
Yeah.
But then, do you think, though, Oti, in terms of if you're really angry at your former partner for the things that have happened, is it right for you to be honest with your children about that, or should be an element of the children will sort of figure it out as they get older anyway and figure things out for themselves?
Do you know what I think? I think as parents, because I'm guilty of this, we want to create that... We want to protect our children, right? We want to create that image of Mommy and Daddy are together. And I think whether we tell them or we don't tell them that things are not great, if we're arguing, if we're getting a divorce, children are really intuitive. Before you even come to them and lie to them, before they even ask you, they know what's going on. They feel it. They can see Mommy and Daddy aren't working. So just like instances where people stay together and they say, well, I'm doing this and I'm staying with this man because I'm doing it for the kids. That's a lot of pressure, and the children can feel that. It's trauma they carry with them until they grow. It's also how they deal with relationships with men or women. It just manifests itself in their lives. So I love what you do when you say, not right now, because you're not emotionally in that state, or you're not emotionally ready to handle that. And I think that's really the best way. But you just have to be honest with them.
And at least we're having a conversation. We probably all grew up in a generation where it was come out of big people business.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Generally, yeah, it is. Generally, it is.
Yeah. Wow. OK, mummies, we're the big people now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.